Hi guys, Jill here, and I actually have a video to show you some of the things I've been working on. I actually have been doing some stamping behind the scenes. As you can hear, I do have a cold, so loads of fun. But other than destashing, which I have been doing tons of, which really feels great to kind of clear things out in here, it's made me feel really creative. But I have been doing a lot of cards for birthdays and family events and for my mom. So she needed a 16th birthday party for our friend Pat's granddaughter. And so that is, you know, a big deal. Pat is like almost like a member of the family, to be honest. So I wanted to do something special. And I made a version of the card. I didn't finish it, but I wanted to show you guys. So kind of what I did, I haven't colored in the hair because I haven't finished this one, but on her card, this was for her granddaughter who is blonde, so I did blonde hair. I used my alcohol markers. I stamped this on the buff pad, which is the Julie Nutting pad. This is the Prima doll, and I don't know the names because mine are all just stuck on a sheet. I used a little bit of lace. I got this at Michael's in the clearance bin. It was on little spools. And I used some paper scraps. I think these are mostly primrose. What I had done is I put all my paper scraps in one drawer that's next to my desk, and on days that are slow, which I haven't had lately, I will sit down and cut them into squares and attach them to bigger pieces of paper, and that's what I did here. And then I'll kind of quilt them and emboss them, and it really makes this cool background paper. And I have a bunch of them. I don't emboss them until I need them, so I know kind of what style I'm going for. And so that really came in handy for this. And then I just did a matching scrap of paper back here, and wow, that was an airplane going over. And just a scrap, and I used the same embossing folder and went over it with tea dye. These balloons I cut on my silhouette, and I put a few sequins over them, obviously some bling here, and glossy accents over black alcohol marker on her shoes, and you know, just the basics there. And then I did a little poppy pop-up, whatever it's called, a mover and shaper, and this is from Paper Tray Ink, the little spinnery thing. I think it's just called movers and shapers. I have the name on the die. It's a set of 3, and so anyway, I just antiqued it. That was probably the longest part, was antiquing it. And then I added some balloons. I have some more balloons to accent the back, and then I had cut out the 16 from my Tim Holtz die and put it on the front. And then there was a whole bunch more sequins on her card, and I antiqued it a little bit more. And then I used some silver twine, as you can see. So I was really happy with how this card came out. And when I have a need for this one, which might be my niece's birthday that's coming up in January. Oh, and this, I antiqued the white stick down lace trim that was cheap at Michael's a while back. So great way to use up your scraps. All of this card was scraps, except for, of course, the base. And this, I used the 110-pound Recollections paper, which I'm loving. Okay, so bunch of other cards. Let's just go into these. This was my new Hero Arts bird set that I got when I went to meet Jen, my blue bike, um, and the Tampa area over the summer. And this is one of their multiple step ones, which I love. I have quite a few sets like that. I have some from Kitchen Sink Stamps, which are so cool. They were among the first with Stampin' Up! To do those kind. I have Alta New, and now I have the Hero Arts one. And then I went over it with colored pencils to make it look a little more sketchy. I put in the branch, a few of my punched out leaves, some of the little flowers from Hobby Lobby that I love so much, a piece of lace that was sent to me, spattered the background a piece of craft paper, edged it, and what's the word, bird came in it, antiqued that with tea dye, and vintage photo. So really quick card, haven't done anything to it, put it on a card base that I've had hanging around. Then I did some shaker cards. I went through my images that I had in my collection that have kind of been hanging around. This one, I had painted this quite a while ago with my watercolor pencils, and then I didn't do anything with it. So my brother's birthday, or my nephew, somebody's birthday, and I used this. And I had done up a bunch of backgrounds, just Christina Werner style, to see what paints I really liked. I used my Yarka. They're Russian, and I love them. And just major saturation of color on these. And that was just the example I was looking for. So, on the one that I used, I put happy birthday up here, and I just can't remember what I used it for. Anyway, I used it, and I put the words up here so your eye was drawn to it, and I left it super simple. Just cut this out with my spellbinders, and then just attached it, and there you go. And again, a card base I had around the house. So I'm trying to use up things that are around here. Then I took this butterfly. I've had this one around the house again, around my stamp room. And I did a background. This one was with my Peerless watercolors. Again, loved it. And obviously lighter colors. And again, the same spot technique. And then I used, all of these was those C. Cartwright sequins. And then some of those Recollections ones that I picked up. And don't add too many of those. And then again, just that simple frame. And again, this one I'll put whatever the greeting is over in this area. And this one I ended up warping some because the glue didn't dry in here. So what I'm doing is I stamped out the butterfly again, and I'm just going to add a second layer right here and re-glitter it. Never had that happen before, but my glue is old. So I'm just going to add a second layer to the butterfly. And so again, another nice card. This one I added to one of those Michael's Value cards. Great deal. Okay, and then this one I branched out a little. And this one, the happy birthday, is going to go right about in here, or if it says something else. This one was my design. I completely used my design, but I based it off of this balloon, so not like, oh, totally, I guess, my design. But I did change some things about the balloon, and I made it how I wanted it. So I went into my silhouette program And I said, you know, I wanted the balloon and I wanted 2 layers. So I pulled the balloon out bigger as well as the little bottom. So I made everything fatter for this. And then I made it on a layer, on a rectangle. And so you had to make the inside part smaller, but the layer bigger, and then the layer bigger, the layer smaller, and the balloon bigger. So I did that. And then I offset the layers because I wanted a little bit more of the speckle showing. And so I offset the layers a little. So I really enjoyed that. And then when I attached it, I put it a little too far down. But anyway, I was really thrilled. I created my own file, my own design. I've done it a few other times, but not with multiple layers. So I'm doing a snow globe one. I have it all done up, but I have to cut it. So that was my own design, and this background was Distress. And again, I'm loving that. I signed up for the watercolor class, and I am super excited to take it. And then this is watercolored, and this is one of my good old Hausmas stamps. I always fall back on those. And again, in tune with trying not, sorry, I'm way out there, aren't I? Trying not to just spend, not for the sake of saving money, which is always good, but for the sake of not cluttering and just having stuff I don't need that I'll never use. Which I have bought stuff. Don't get me wrong, I'm still buying stuff. I still have stuff coming. I finally broke down and I'm getting the real brush markers, and it's these that did it to me, these clean color markers. I am in love with them, and this is all because of Jen, my Blue Bud 101. When she was here, she brought her mother's, and I tried them, and the colors are amazing. And I colored this with them today, and I'm in love with them. And so look at the intensity of the color. And I just sat down and I colored this image, and it came out exactly as I wanted. And to me, it's better than alcohol markers. It was easier to blend. Now when the real brush markers come, I feel, you know, maybe from what I've seen, I might even have a little bit of an easier time. So we'll see. And I want to expand on the colors because they have 20 more colors. And I ordered them from Japan, so they were even more of a deal. They were $1.80 a marker, which is less than half price. So I was really excited to get them. So again, this was just colored, watercolored with those markers. And so I'm planning to have both of them and use them together. And we'll see. Anyway, and the other thing I'm doing is I'm challenging myself to add eyelets and brads to my cards because I have this tin of eyelets. Doesn't seem like a lot until you really look at it and absorb. And I have 2 of them. I have one metallics and one matte. And this is a lot of eyelets. And so I've been holding on to these for years. Again, it doesn't take up a lot of space, but I need to start using them. Oh, and this is going on the inside of that butterfly card. So, yeah, just using what I have. So, oh, and I use some Target thank you cards that I've had for years and years and years. And I'm trying to use up things here before I say I need something else. So I might try to do a little challenge here on my channel with some prizes so I can get a little more stuff out of here. Okay, so there you have it. That's my card shares, my lengthy cards here. Sorry about that. So, as always, if you enjoyed this video, please, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up and some comments. Please leave me a comment. Tell me what you're trying to use up. Tell me what, product you have too much of. And as always, thanks for stopping by and have a great day.